Do you think that there's an issue with the NFL and viewership because of what's happened with the protests of Colin Kaepernick and others?
Well, Tiki, it's good to be on with you, buddy. I think that's had an impact. I really do. I think that in general, the focus on it, the amount that it's been shown, continually showing the one or two guys, on each sideline that are doing their silent protest.
Yep.
My personal feeling has always been that I love the national anthem, that it was one of the most special times in my career, every game. That to me, it represented everything that was right with our country, not necessarily wrong with our country. And it was always a special moment for me. And I thought of the members of my family that are in the military, that are in the Air Force and the Coast Guard, my two brothers, and the sacrifices that they make. But I think in general that it's had a negative connotation towards the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to dispute it. Because people now have an opinion that's not just based on I want to be entertained on Sunday, I got a couple of calls that said the same thing. It's not really the players; they can do whatever they want, but the owners in the league haven't done anything, and I don't know if the owners in the league can do anything. Jay Feely here joining us on CBS Sports Radio, kicking analyst, will be on the game tonight. Now, to talk about kickers, Jay, and I know it's a very tight fraternity of players who do what you did for a living for so many years. Josh Brown is one of them. Now, there's some new documents that have come out detailing some of his abuses. And this is personal, documents. These are his files. Likely he was with a counselor when they were going through some issues, he and his ex-wife, and the counselor made him write these things down. But now they've been released because they were part of his case file. What do the Giants have to do with Josh Brown? I think they have to cut him because this is so anti-Giants. You know this. You played for the Giants like I did.
Yeah, they're an organization that's locked up, that is old school in many different ways, and they don't want distractions like that. And I think in retrospect, they probably look back and think that they made a mistake in re-signing Josh because he was a free agent, and they could have just moved on and signed another kicker. And performance-wise, he's done a good job on the field. But you look at these, and they're very damning documents, even if they were personal journals. And I don't know how they get out, but They don't shine a good light on Josh, and they don't shine a good light on the Giants or the NFL in general. And
yeah.
There's just no excuse for domestic violence. There's not. And nobody can make one to me. I can't come up with one to justify that action ever.
Yeah, this is self-admitted now. So should the league suspend him even though they didn't prior? I mean, more. I mean, they suspended him for
a game. I mean, is it like
situation? Is it like a double jeopardy thing,
And then they went back when they had more evidence, when the video came out, and they gave him a lengthier suspension. So there's precedent there, and it's something that I think that they could possibly do.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Should the Giants cut him? You think they will? I mean, they haven't left yet. I mean, I don't think they've left yet. It doesn't make sense for them to have left now. They would leave probably this evening so that they get to London in the morning. You think he makes the flight and the Giants move on?
I think if Josh was not honest with the Mara family, and part of the rationale for keeping him and re-signing him was conversations that they had with him, the knowledge that they had. So if he wasn't honest with them, if this revelation is something new, then I probably think they do make a decision to cut him.
Great point. And that's obviously what the Giants and John Mara and the Tisch family are all about. Jay Feely, kicking analyst for NFL on CBS. He'll be on the sidelines tonight when the Packers take on the Bears on CBS and the NFL Network and on Twitter. So tune in also Sunday for our collective former team as the Giants take on the Rams in London at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Time on the NFL Network. Let's get to this game quickly, Jay. The Bears are the Bears, and for some reason, Brian Hoyer is playing like he's a franchise quarterback. How?
Well, he's moving the ball well. He's thrown for over 300 yards, 4 straight games, but they haven't scored points. I think they're 7th in the league in total yards. They're 31st in the league in points scored. So, when you judge an offense and you judge a quarterback in particular, it's all about points scored. You can put up a lot of garbage yards throughout a game, and that doesn't mean anything. And defense coordinators will tell you that all the time. They could care less how many yards they give up if they're doing a good job limiting points. And so the Bears are the opposite. They're moving the ball a lot, but they're not scoring points. And when you look at the Bears, I was on that team 2 years ago, and that's a team that lacked a lot of playmakers at a lot of different positions, difference makers. You don't see that offensively. You look at a lot of the guys that they let go, Martellus Bennett. You look around at Brandon Marshall. You look at Forte. all these guys, even Robbie Gould, and Connor Barth has struggled, this year in replacing Robbie Gould. They let a lot of good players go and didn't replace those players with playmakers. They really haven't done a good job drafting, and so their struggles don't really surprise me.
Yeah, so this 68% completion percentage, 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 0 touchdowns of Brian Hoyer. It's like stats, lies, damn lies, and statistics. They're telling you,
Well,
they're not telling the story.
He doesn't take a lot of chances.
No, you're right.
When opportunities are there, I think that he shies away from making the throws that you need to make to win games because he doesn't want to make that big mistake. And, he's done a good job protecting the ball, but he hasn't made the plays that he needed to make when the game was on the line, and he needed to make those plays.
Yeah, no, and the Chicago Bears have a ton of guys on IR and injured already. So John Fox has got his hands full. On the other side of this, are we overreacting to Aaron Rodgers and this Packers offense? It's like the question comes up all the time. Even their head coach is getting annoyed by just insinuation that something may be amiss. Is there something wrong, or are the Packers just going through a little bit of a down cycle?
Well, Tiki, I think there's two parts to that question. So you said, are we overreacting to Aaron Rodgers in this offense? I would say, yes, we're overreacting to Aaron Rodgers, and no, we're not overreacting to that offense. I think that the symptoms are more with a problem with that offense, and in particular, the style of offense and a lack of good play from the receivers. When you look downfield, there's just not guys open on that field. And I think Aaron Rodgers has struggled at times with his confidence in his receivers. He struggled at times making plays. There were a couple of plays that he missed last week in that Cowboys game, and you've seen that. But I think it probably all derives from his lack of confidence in that receiving core, even going back to last year.
Yeah, no, you heard Aaron Rodgers saying that, but isn't it a job of an elite quarterback to make those guys better? Right? You look at some of the really good ones. Tom Brady, for instance. I mean, he's got these guys. Chris Hogan had no business being on any team, and Tom Brady comes back and he catches 114 yards. I mean,
yeah, but he was open.
True, but
so your guys.
But Aaron Rodgers has been missing open guys.
The scheme. Your guys have to get open. The scheme has to put players in position to make plays. And I think so. It's everybody. No question, Aaron Rodgers can play better, but at the same time, I think they can take advantage scheme-wise better. They can't get open on man coverage right now.
Yeah, no,
they just can't. They can't get open on man coverage. You look downfield and they're all covered. Where is he going to go with the ball?
Yeah, and given that Eddie Lacy and James Starks are both out, it could be a home loss, upset by the Chicago Bears tonight. I hope not, but maybe.
I think you're going to see an aggressive Packers team. I do. I think they'll spread the ball around and try to do what Aaron Rodgers does best, and that's get rid of the ball quickly.